Body yada 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 yada. Hi guys, welcome back to the Community HOPEcast. Today we have a fun, maybe slightly traumatizing. Sorry for the slightly traumatizing intro. Funny, huh? Funny, huh? I don't think I should be doing this. Anyways, today we're gonna talk about maybe an iffy topic, not iffy per se, that it is more sensitive. So if you do feel uncomfortable, feel right ahead, turn this off, right? It's a little touchy based on your mental health. It's touchy on my mental health, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about body images in your little Asian American immigrant community. And as a Vietnamese community, I feel like we should talk about this. My name's Annie. I'm your host. I am with
Jane.
Christina.
Yay! But I feel like historically, body image can be a very taboo thing, right? We're not really supposed to talk about weight. It's kind of a sensitive topic. We don't know how, what everyone's perception about is. But I think it's good to really normalize that with, a simple conversation. So thanks for joining me today. And I think we can, go right ahead and think about, historically, what were the body images or body standards that we have in, at least for our experiences, the Vietnamese community?
I mean, first thing that comes to mind, we say it's a bit of a touchy subject or taboo, but also at the same time, growing up Asian American around here, or at least if you're Vietnamese, it's always in your face. Like growing up as a child around here, your parents, your relatives are unafraid to just jab at you like, hey, you put on weight lately? You look a little chubby. What's up with that?
You look different. Same experience?
Yeah.
Same experience? Yeah. No, I think it's really interesting how the dynamic goes because, they're like, you go to a family party, right, for example, and they're like, oh, wow, like, go eat, like, go pile on some food, and they start putting food on your plate, and you're like, pause. First of all, I can't even eat half of this plate, right? And then you make me eat all of this, and then you're like, wow, Gong, like, like you younger, you're looking a little different. Hey,
and it's never in a good way. It's never to compliment you.
You eating a lot. I don't know, man. You put the food on my plate. It's not calculating. It's not adding up right now, right?
One of our greatest contradictions.
Very contradicting. Like your grandma's like, hey, eat something. Hi, welcome home. I made some.
Honestly, my grandma never said it to me though. My grandma fed me, but like she didn't jab me like that.
Wow.
I'll be honest.
That's great.
It was all the aunties and stuff.
It's always the aunties.
It's always the aunties. They got the audacity. I mean, like some of them, it is like good intention, right? Because they grew up, at least from what I know in Vietnam, knowing that body standards was like, okay, you gotta be like lean, slim, big assets.
You seen our AAPI? Oh,
yeah, that is
fitting in those.
fitted, very fitted, like very like lean, tall, pale. Because if you were dark, you were a farmer, right? Go to the fields. I'm going back to the fields.
I had a lesson back in school about it, and part of the reason why, do you kind of know historically why pale over like tan?
Yeah, because
like you said,
if you were tan, you were in the fields working because you were poor trying to make money. But then if you
Yeah.
were rich enough, you would be inside. And that's why, like, one of the things is like, and it does happen in this office, they look at my hands, they're like, wow, these hands have no calluses. And I'm like, yeah, well, they burnt like this because I'm too busy typing. They ever done that to you?
no.
Good, keep it that way. They take my hands, they're like, wow, it's like you haven't worked a day in your life.
The older people?
Yeah.
or like our uncle and stuff. Or just people in the community.
People in the community in our office. And the office.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Like, but okay. Growing up, was your body standards like very similar? Like, like not your body image itself, but growing up, like what were the cultural and social norms that influenced your understanding of body images in the Vietnamese community?
So Vietnamese community is slim, right? But also Western standards, which also kind of similarly like, slim. But then growing up, in middle school and high school, when you started paying more attention to just trends of, for example, like makeup or other things like, body curves, whatever, those changed more often growing up. So me personally, though, I didn't pay attention that much to the Western side of it. I already got enough from the Vidme side, I guess. But Christina, you grew up in NorCal. So what was that like? Was that also a bit different?
I think for body images, like for my family, because like we're Vietnamese, it was always like like thin, slender, and like with Western media, it is slender has always been like the ideal body standard, but then it's like in middle school and high school there was a rise of like what's it called, so like self-love for all body types, so it's like it was very confusing growing up having two different ideal standards, so it's like, oh, like I'm supposed to embrace like my body in like the West, but in like the East, like I'm supposed to look skinny, so it's like it's really hard trying to figure out like who you are and due to being like Asian American,
Did you feel that?
Yeah. I think body positivity was like a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then like being like slim, like, having these y'all get groped by your aunts. This is like not like, no, you don't need to be CPS on this. It's like when
I have
for that, like you wear the ao yai and then they're just like and you're getting your measurements and stuff like that.
I didn't grow up wearing ao yai when I was like a teenager or anything, so
I just got groped in Vietnam.
This is do not call CPS. We're fine. This is just like a little immigrant thing where there's like they want to make sure your body, because you can see it, but is it
it's like
the way
cinched
they
in,
feel?
yeah, it's
like
so
cinched
fitted,
in. Yeah. I too have been groped, but so like that has been very interesting. I think I definitely leaned more towards like the eastern side because growing up in an ethnic enclave like Little Saigon, it's like you see it in the clothes, you see it in like when you go shopping, right?
Oh, yeah.
When I go shopping in like Asian brands and stuff like that, girl, I am a large in an Asian brand. Like, I go on Yes Style and it's a gamble, because I'm like, am I gonna fit a small? Because in America I'm small, but actually now I'm medium. But for some reason I'm like XL in like China, XL in like Vietnam. Like,
that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Seeing clothes in like East Asian sizing or whatever, that was pretty surprising.
Yeah, because then Christina did say like you really grapple with your identity as like an Asian American because one, your diet is vastly different than the ones in Vietnam, right? Like consumerism culture is like, ooh, McDonald's, or like you're eating more processed food because of like FDA standards and stuff like that. In Vietnam, I don't know, I've never been, I want to go back, but it definitely different over there because some people, are they taller over there now?
I heard so.
I heard they're taller.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Okay. It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends on the village. But like over there, it's just different, you know? And then now you're grappling with different varying sizes of like, ooh, here's an Asian brand. What are you now? Go up.
No, yeah, that's so true. Like growing up, I was always considered like tiny, like being like the only Asian within like miles and miles. Like I was always considered tiny, and it's like it didn't occur to me that like my body dysmorphia would become more apparent when I got older. Like my body changes. I was always called tiny, no matter what age I was, and it's like after like gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, like I still thought of myself as tiny just because like I was always put in that mindset, and so it's like when I'm buying clothes from Asian brands, it like hit me a different way because I was like, I thought I was tiny, but like I'm not tiny, I'm large in like Asian branding, and so like it was just confusing. So it's like what am I really, so it's like when you grow up around like predominantly white and like Latino culture, everybody's like and like the typical person is like a little bigger, a little taller, more curvier, so it's like I even had trouble finding clothes that fit me sometimes because like I would have to stick with like extra small. But then it's like in Asia, I'm like extra large, you know? So it's like I had a hard time accepting that I was growing bigger in size, you know? Because it's like I couldn't tell what my size was anywhere. And that's why I hated shopping, because like I always had to try the clothes on, and it's like I never had the privilege to buy clothes online, because buying clothes anywhere, especially online, was just such a gamble. I never knew my size. I was never consistent, and like to this day I'm still not consistent in my sizes. Like I'll be like small here, medium here, large here, extra large here, double X small here. Like it doesn't make any sense, you know.
Did you have any like similar experiences to that?
To that, I don't know if it affected me, like my identity, as heavily, because growing up, I guess being here and growing up in this enclave, right, you see a lot of people who are similar to you in, you know, how you appearance and maybe like body type even. I think even compared to what I thought was the average here too, I did feel like I wasn't like as slim or well, height is always a problem, but that can't be helped, I guess. But I think a lot of it came into play, like maybe growing up there were times when I felt like less confident in myself because of like my weight or size. But for the most part, I think I didn't mind it too much. I think there's a part of me that kind of accepted, like looking at the rest of my family too. Like I kind of understood like part of it was also like genetically, like, oh, I can't be like the super slim like petite Asian girl. Like I'm petite, like short, but it can't be helped. Like I'm not like super slim or anything. Like I have big thighs. That was like something to get over at some point when I was in middle school. But for the most part, I think I chalked it up to, kind of family. Like genetics plays a big role in that as well. And that was something I had to accept. Like part of this is just where my genetics came from. Yeah.
So with these, you know, experiences and like, you know, experience of like, you know, body image and like, you know, maybe it'd be family, maybe it's just, you know, being unable, like fluctuating, like sizing on clothing is not you, it's the sizes of the company. Does it define your, or does it change any definition of what your understanding of health is?
I think that, well, because of my body type, when I did get my annual checkups and stuff, my doctor was always telling me like, hey, you should be aware that genetically you have a few concerns in some areas, right? Like, you know, maybe like your lipid panel or something. And I was like, ooh. So my mom was also like very conscious and aware of it. She wasn't like super mean about it or anything, but she always was encouraging, like, you know, you should be exercising to keep like your health up. And because of that, I was a little bit more conscious and tried to exercise where I could. These days though, I think I've settled into like a very steady rhythm of like the recommended amount of like exercise every day, and like if this is how my body shape is, even with like all the exercise and stuff and like a decent diet, like this is how it's going to be, like, and the health panel says this is fine, so I guess that's it. Yeah. Christina?
Does your experiences with the body image standards in the Asian American community, does that change what your definition of health is?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time understanding the question.
Like more of like, okay,
answered.
how would you define good physical health?
Oh, I see. I guess like, you know, like a healthy diet, like as in like, fruits and vegetables every day, water every day, try to limit on like sugar or like any, you know, like fried foods, sugary foods, all those things. And then, just having like a decent amount of exercise every day, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, now does your understanding of what body images are in the Vietnamese community, does that affect your definition of health, or does your definition of health remain the same?
Because there's a very
genetically, like some people are going to be bigger than others, some people are going to be curvier than others, right? But then some people, in order to obtain the ideal body image in like the Vietnamese community, they're gonna have to go. We're gonna talk about eating disorders.
Yeah,
they will probably most likely have an eating disorder, right?
I see. Oh, I see.
But so then does that affect like your understanding of like what good physical health is? Does that make sense?
Oh, I think I did have a stint in college where I was really bad about my diet. Like I cut a lot of things out to the point where like I think I cut out like most carbs. And there was a time where I don't think it was an eating disorder per se, but I had like really bad my mom called it like acid reflux or something, but I had to take like medicine to rebalance out this acidity in my stomach because my guts were like not happy with me. And that was probably like the slimmest I'd ever been to, but I guess it was bad. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. It went blip.
You good? You good now?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just
matters.
like I don't know. It was like half a year, and then it was like it went bad for like a month, and I had to take like those acid pills for like 2 weeks or something. But then so after that, I was like, okay, I guess I need to eat more. Yeah, like I guess like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I understand the question. I guess it doesn't change the definition of like good health for me, because I know like even like my mom would tell me to, like growing up, she would tell me to skip meals or cut back on meals or like eat less or or because she would say like, oh, like you're gonna get fat if you eat 3 meals a day, or if you like don't limit yourself, so it's like, or she would make me feel bad for having like a snack or something, and so it's stuff like that I definitely realized at a young age that like this is not healthy, but it's like that's just what's been like ingrained in her, so it's like she's trying to ingrain that in me, and that's what caused me to have health issues sometimes, because it's like, because I would be not eating certain meals of the day, I would only eat less because my stomach was smaller because I wasn't eating a lot, so it's like, it's just what I got used to. And then when I did eat a lot, like for example, like in band, they would make us eat a lot of snacks and drink a lot of water to stay full and hydrated, and throughout the day, especially if we had like 10-hour plus band days, and it's like I remember feeling so nauseous and sick to my stomach if I ate like a full meal every meal of the day for those days, because it's like my body wasn't used to it, and it's like I got really sick from doing that. And it's taken me a while to train my body to like get used to eating something every meal, whether it's like a fruit or like a granola bar or something, and it's just scary knowing that like people think that if you're slim, like you're in good health, and it's like, oh yeah, I just had an apple for the entire day, and it's like I am healthy, like, but I'm slim, so it's like that is not a good mindset. And it's like I thought it was just like only my parents who still thought this way, because they came from Vietnam, it's like, but then it's like when I was in Vietnam, it's like because our parents thought this way from the motherland is still like this. I didn't know that. And so when I got there, like everybody still thought like that, and everybody was still like, it, like earlier everybody was giving me food like 24/7. All I did in Vietnam was just eat. But then it's like, how am I supposed to maintain like a slim figure if they just keep feeding me all the time? I don't know if it's because they kept feeding me because like I was a guest and I was visiting, or because like that's just how they are, but then it's like I noticed that everybody there, no matter how many meals they had, they ate like a bite every meal, and like that's just how they sustained for the entire day. And then like they would be constantly ragging on like my appearance, and I would tell them like I used to be slimmer before I got really sick and hospitalized, and I think like all the medicine that I endured in the hospital when I was there, it like changed my immune system. So now like it changed my immune system and my metabolism. And so now my body doesn't process foods faster enough, so I still feel full after hours and hours and hours, and it's like even with the clothes thing, like I was feeling weird because it's like I know I'm in good health, but I don't feel good because being surrounded by only slim people in Vietnam, like it like subverted me back to thinking that like, oh, maybe I shouldn't eat this many meals because then I wouldn't be so much bigger, you know. And it's like a lot of it, like I was telling my sister, I was like, oh, I want to go shopping here, but I can't buy clothes because I literally don't fit most of these stores. And she was like, oh, like that's because they're poor in Vietnam, you know, like they can't afford to eat that much. That's why they're slim. And I was like, I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that they're fat phobic, you know.
That too. But also just lifestyle differences. We are probably more sedentary as well.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's due to like because we don't live in like a walkable city, you know.
Yeah, we be driving everywhere. That's like literally the only exercise. Is like, is your leg moving?
Yeah, that's why we have to go out. We have to go out of our way to like get exercise into our day. So we definitely, some of our health choices growing up were definitely affected by our perception of, you know, body image and whatever. What about you though, Annie?
I had an interesting relationship with body image and being healthy. Being healthy was more of the issue, right? Because like I am underweight. That's been like an issue for me. But then it's like my parents and like my sister and my aunts are like, oh, like you're skinny, like it's cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's good enough. Like that's validation, I guess. But then it's like, are you healthy, right? Like at my
doctor
height,
says
I'm unhealthy. I'm unhealthy because I'm underweight. At 5'5", I should be like around like, I believe like the American standard is like 130.
oh
Dude, I'm like 110.
oh
I'm 20 pounds off, right? So it's like my journey of, you know, understanding like body image is like, yeah, like I get, you know, validation for, you know, looking the way that my parents think how I should look, right? As well as my sister. But then there are times where like, you know, as a woman, you get on the menstrual cycle and then like you bloat. I get severe bloating. So it makes me gain like a lot of pounds. And like me looking at like the gaining of pounds is like, I'm still like, you know, on that journey of like really understanding like, okay, health is good, but is my weight and my figure good, right? Because growing up, like I've always been okay with my figure, right? I had no issues with that. But I had a lot of health issues, right? Like I had an ulcer. That made me lose a lot of weight. And I was like, at my lowest, I was like, that is unhealthy.
you cold often?
Am I cold often?
Aren't you anemic?
I get chilly. I don't think I'm anemic. I don't know. I'm not sure. My health insurance doesn't really cover annuals, so I don't really get annuals that often. Like that's like pay out of pocket. Yeah, so like health insurance is like a really big issue too, because it's like I afford to get a checkup sometimes, and then like does that make sure that my weight is like, I have mainly been like maintaining my own weight and like my health and making sure like, okay, I'm eating in every food category, but also making sure that I'm getting exercise. Getting the exercise is not too easy though, because like straight up again, like living in America, like you have a sedentary work lifestyle because like you're just at the desk. But then like, you know, I try to get exercise, but then even when I get exercise, I get comments about going my body because like, you know, I don't go to a gym. I walk around my neighborhood. That's how I get cardio. But then there are old Vietnamese ladies in the neighborhood and they're like, wow. And I walk by my mom. They're like, wow, your daughter's so tall. She's so skinny. And I'm like, hee, I'm skinny. Hee, I'm unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like an interesting conflict that I've been going through. Yeah. But even with like our body images and our like, you know, I guess like with trying to mitigate the Eastern and like the Western body image, has that affected your mental health? Like I know we touched upon it, but it's like, oh, like we feel uncomfortable. We're still like, you know, trying to understand that balance. But like, has there been like any like negative experiences?
I think for me, I've definitely struggled with my mental health in this area, you know, because it's like I didn't like a lot of times I didn't feel like I was worthy if I wasn't a certain figure, you know. And it's like my mom always told me like, oh, if you keep eating so much and you're gonna get fat and no one's gonna love you, you know. So it's like things like that. So it's like I really struggled with that growing up, and like it made me afraid to like eat foods or like try new foods or something. And it's also like affected the way I hear certain words, you know. So it's like I get like hearing the words like fat and skinny is really triggering for me. So like it's taking me years, but I've trained myself to I use the words thin and like thicker now or something to like define bodies, because it's like, well, with the word fat, it usually presents itself with a negative connotation, and so I don't like hearing that. You know, it's like the only time I call something fat is like my cats. You know,
Chonk.
like you're definitely fat. That's my cat. He's allowed to be that size. You know, he doesn't do anything all day. But yeah, it's definitely hard when you grow up with certain people, like you have a different relationship with body image standards, because it's like these people that you're friends with and their parents, like they didn't have like Eastern Asian standards, you know. So it's like everybody always told me like I was fine, you know, and like my friends were always fine. It's like they didn't understand when I tell them like, oh, I'm having a hard time eating recently, because it's like I don't want to get bigger, you know. Yeah. Jane?
I think for me, the experience of, you know, grappling with body image issues, body image standards, and my mental health really presented itself in, I guess, my level of confidence growing up. There were times when I was more conscious of the fact that I was not as slim as the other girls around me, and that definitely shut down some of my confidence. Like you were saying too, how sometimes your family, they always jab you with comments about your weight, especially if you look like you're gaining weight. And yeah, it definitely made me feel more conscious, like, oh, are people not going to like me because I am this size? And I think as I grew up, maybe like in, you know, high school and stuff too, middle school and high school, just things like a combination of just like weight and other appearance factors, it made me feel really shy, especially in front of the camera. Vietnamese people, our families, we love taking
cameras.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yes. And that definitely made me want to shrink away from the camera.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel like as I got older, I was a little bit more stable, or like accepted myself a bit more, but I still shied away from the camera in most cases, unless it was something like I was in control of the camera and it was a very specific shoot or something, you know, like in those cases where it's like, okay, cool, camera's fine. But if I wasn't in control of like that, or, you know, how I looked that day, it made me feel bad. So
No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
That's why I always volunteered to take the picture, because I don't want to
Yeah.
be in it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, when you're saying like, oh, the girls around you, you know, it's like, because you guys like stayed here in SoCal, like during college, after college, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like when I grew up around different people, and then when I got here, it was extremely culture like shocking, you know. So it's like I grew up only around like my family, so it's like they always told me certain things, and it's like that's just always affected me. But then it's like when I moved here, I no longer had them in my life anymore, like my parents, but it's always been in my head, you know. So it's like that relationship has like almost never changed, because it's like now I'm just ragging on myself, because it's like it's just filling in that gap, because like no one's saying it to me now, but I'm saying it to myself, because it's like I don't look like the girls here, you know, in SoCal. So it's like I was always hard on myself for doing that. And it's like I think what Jane was saying about like shrinking yourself, like being away from the camera, like I definitely, when I moved here, I just didn't want to take any pictures. I don't think I've taken many pictures since I moved down here. And it's like,
definitely like no fault of like anyone around us. Like I feel like our generation, we're more understanding because we went through all that.
yeah, exactly.
And so it's nice being around people our age group, right? Like I feel like there's not as much judgment or anything, but then you've internalized all of this stuff growing up in our families. And so even when you're with, you know, friends or your peers or whatever, you just silently compare yourself in your head. No. Did you also kind of get that, or?
Yeah. Because, like, you know, you grow up with the aunties here. Like, even, like, I'm still experiencing with the seniors, because they're, like, not in terms of my body, but they're, like, yo, what's up with your face? I'm like, yo, that's genetic acne, dog. like please, right? Like they have good intentions, but really bad executions. So I was like, now we're more sensitive in like addressing the topic, but making sure it's like a safe space in addressing the topic too. But I still like in my head, it's like I still get that nagging. It's like, oh man, I'm bloated and I think I'm getting big. But I'm like, oh, that's just regular like hormonal bloating. Like it's not so bad. Like I shouldn't have to punish myself for gaining weight. Because if I gain weight, then I gain weight. I'm just gonna have to lose it. But though it is like a financial thing. Like I just want to bring this up. Like because you buy clothes in a certain size and then you gain weight, then you gotta buy more clothes in a certain size. It's like for me, like I'm even more like empowered, like more focused on like staying the same size because I can't afford to buy new clothes. It's rough out here, man.
Or leaning more towards like less fitted fits. Less fitted fits and maybe even oversized fits are more forgiving.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also like now there's an abundance in like fashion styles, luckily.
Yeah.
Because before then you're just wearing like in elementary school it's like skinny jeans.
I think I think the trend of oversized clothes now has definitely helped my mental health a lot recently.
Yeah, you also get to dress the way that you want to dress. But are there like any other like coping strategies to really maintain like a good balance between like body image and your mental well-being that you guys have like touched upon?
Let's see. Coping with it. I think these days I'm a bit more accepting of just the way that I look. But definitely one part of it is settling into just, being cautious of my diet and settling into like a reasonable exercising routine. But also just finding other ways. I guess because I was never 100% satisfied with the way I looked because of like my size or whatever. Growing up, there were other ways that I kind of like leaned into to try and make myself like my body more, I guess. So, of course, one thing eventually, right, fashion and all that has really opened up. And I feel like now people have their own style and you see so much more variety, like people expressing themselves that way. For me, I think it's also, I guess this fits under body modification. But things like piercings or tattoos was also one thing that I kind of leaned into, which I know goes against our culture's standards, tattoos and body piercings. But that's a whole other thing to grapple with too, fighting against like your Vietnamese cultural standards. But also it was something that I just like, I can't fully explain why I like it. I mean, sometimes you don't need to put words to why you like something, right? It's a feeling. It's a feeling, right? But I really liked, for example, like having like more ear piercings or something, and it made me feel happier with myself, and it was something I wanted to do for me. And so I just like did some of that. Yeah.
When you did these body, like, the piercings and like, for example, tattoos, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Did it feel like you were empowering yourself, that you were taking ownership of your body compared to someone saying comments?
Perhaps, yes. I mean, because personally, like I didn't really grow up with friends or family who were that vocal about, getting more piercings or getting like tattoos or anything in particular. It was definitely something that I just kind of like grew to like on my own for some reason. I could put words to it. I mean, depending on like the day explanation, what kind of explanation I want to give people, but it was just something I gravitated towards too. And once I got it, it was definitely like, this is cool. This is fun. Like I like how it looks like on me for me.
Pretty.
Yeah, shiny. Oh, pretty art, pretty lines.
What about you, Christina?
Are there certain things that you did for yourself to to grow into like your body image, or what you think is like a good image for yourself?
To be honest, I don't cope with my my body image well, these days still. So it's like, even that there are cycles of me like like feeling better in my own skin, and accepting like how I look, it just hits me in cycles or waves. You know, it's like some days I feel better, some days I don't. Especially if I visit home, especially if like my cousins come to visit. You know, it's like, I don't know. I do think having the money to buy the clothes that I want has helped a lot with my my body image. But it's like, I don't know. I still struggle like to this day, and it's like I don't know how else to help other than like going to therapy and like just working on like myself. You know, it's like I just feel like this is something that's probably gonna affect me for a while, just because like it's been so ingrained in me every single day, and it's like I still have to deal with the people who put that in my head in the first place. You know, so it's like I don't know. I think over time I would like to have better coping strategies. I mean, I do eat healthier now, and it's like I do accept that like a lot of it is like genetics. You know, it's like I am like the tallest girl in my family, even though I'm not that tall, but it's like,
Oh. Everybody's taller than me, I'll be honest. If you're above 4'11", you're taller than me.
You're not 5?
No.
Huh?
I'm not.
Jane's 4'11".
On a good day, I'm pretty sure my last doctor's appointment said 4'10".
Huh?
With no shoes on.
She's pretty tall. Don't worry about it.
Do you think anything of, for example, your body's ability? Like, for example, you do a sport. Do you think much of like, does that help improve at all?
Last year I was really mad because I was like, I'm out doing archery 5-6 hours a day. Why am I not super thin? You know, I was like,
Different sports give you different body types, though. Like,
Yeah.
they improve different features of your body.
yeah, like last month, my coworker said my back might be uneven, and now I'm kind of afraid. I've like never seen my back. Now I'm kind of afraid.
You might want to get that checked, because then, like, for example, you have a shoulder imbalance that might affect the way that you carry things from now on.
That's what I mean.
But
Yeah,
but that's also inherent in some sports. Like, you know how like tennis players, if you do tennis, hit the racket with one hand.
Yeah, but then you
then
also
it
gotta
can't be
exercise the
helped, I
other side
guess.
still. You
I also
know?
have scoliosis,
You want her-
so like
that's true
my
too.
body's misshapen.
But you want her to
multiple
be able
ways.
to like draw an arrow with both hands.
I mean, but then, you know, I don't know. Hey, man, you build a muscle anyway. She got gains. Yeah,
Maybe
anyway.
a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Aren't they really heavy? Like
The
to
bows?
pull? Yeah, to pull.
Because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tension and also like the weight of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm like, to be honest, I think I carry probably the heaviest of my team.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like I don't think just be like even though I'm like getting muscle on like my back and my shoulders, you know, it like that's, even though I've been wanting to like gain muscle, that's not like, you know, like with body image standards for like in the Asian community, it's like they want you to be slender, and it's like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it's like, how do you get slender? Cardio, you know.
I used to swim, and growing up, my mom, she was like, "Don't swim butterfly because you don't want broad shoulders." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Bummer. Guess I'll never pick up that.
I feel like my family like wasted potential. I could have been an Olympic swimmer because I have inherently broad shoulders.
I think it's because we're taller. You know?
That's true, but
That
I have really big shoulders for some reason. That's like always been an issue for me, like
Oh.
body image wise. Like I cannot fit certain jackets if they
Oh.
don't make it like a proper ratio. Because you know how you're supposed to end the line right here,
yeah.
right? So then like some jackets, like I go to Uniqlo, I'm like, oh man, I got to do a test to make sure I can
okay.
actually move my arms. But going back on track,
Are there things that you do to, you know?
work out, be healthy, embrace. You know how like you have the this is so weird. You know how cats like they have the primordial. How do you say it?
The primordial
The
pouch.
Yeah, the pouch.
Yeah.
I just embraced my pouch because, like, you know, like as a woman, you also got a uterus, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's no way that thing is going to be
Flat.
fully
Yeah.
slim.
Yeah.
It's got to right?
Yeah.
Because then they're like babies. I'm like, I don't want a baby. No. But like either way, it's like, you know, that body appreciation, like dressing the things that I want to dress in, looking at myself in the body, and like, you know, counting my blessings because like, oh, at least I'm still here today. That's really my coping mechanism.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I was trying, and, like, I couldn't find the words. I was trying to tell my aunt. I was like, oh, my metabolism is slower now because like I almost died, and so like if I if I didn't go to the hospital, then like I would not be here. So it's like I have to really think about like that has contributed to like my health, you know. So it's like I need to accept that like that's what saved my life, and that my life is going to be different moving forward, you know.
And, like, I'm glad we're here.
Yeah.
You know, good job. So like we gotta take care more, or like be a little more gentle to our body.
Yeah.
Because that really plays into our mental health. But I think like one thing I wanted to touch upon is like before we end this is, what do you want your journey, or what do you want your relationship with like body image to look like in like, you know, the next couple of years?
I don't know. I like the place that I've come to, especially with the balance of like exercise and everything. This is probably the most regularly I've exercised in my entire life. But also at my gym specifically, there's a large portion of older Vietnamese ladies who go there too, and some of them look fantastic. And they're all talking. They're like, "Oh yeah, I've been keeping up like exercise for like the past like few decades, and I still look like this." I'm like, "Wow, you look, you know, not a day over 50." I'm like, "Wow, if I keep this up, could I still look like that when I'm older?" And I was like, "That's pretty impressive." I think that's kind of the road I'm headed on, like just a moderate, you know, reasonable amount of exercise every day, you know, not trying to deprive yourself of the good food in life or anything, but keeping all that in balance. I think you can still look fantastic when you're older. I think when we're like late 20s, 30s or something, and our metabolism really takes a hit, though, we can revisit this discussion then.
I think for me, I want to be more comfortable in my skin, as like when it comes to like taking pictures and everything. And like it makes me really sad thinking that like I've taken maybe like 5 photos since I moved down here, you know. It's like I want to be comfortable enough to get in front of the camera. I don't want to miss out on these moments. I feel like I miss a lot of moments because of my insecurities, and it's like because I don't want to be imprinted in this photo forever, and of like me hating my body and the way I look, you know. So it's like I want to change that to like in when I was at my Vegas tournament, I was crying because I didn't want to take the photo for the collegiate award because I just didn't want to be in front of the camera, you know. And it's like it's not just like my team's camera or like my camera, it was like the world camera. So I was like, I didn't want to be there, and I was crying. So I was like, I really don't like the way I look right now. I just don't want to be there. But I think in the future, other than like my health and stuff, because I feel like it's taken me a while to adjust my mindset, you know, and then it's like eat healthier. But it's like I still want to love my body and the way it looks. And yeah,
I would have to be the same way. I just want to like be healthy, you know, gain some weight, and
Get
also
better health insurance to get your annual.
yeah, that too. But you know what is the American government gonna do for me? Lobbyists? Yeah. So hopefully, you know, maybe get better health insurance, make enough money to get better health insurance. What about that? Huh? Free healthcare? America? That's my issue, first of all. So it's gonna take me a while to reach that. But yeah, just like, you know, maintain a good health, eat well, but also don't like stop myself from eating good. You know, because I mean, like we literally have a cup of boba. So I mean, you gotta you know, indulge a little, but
Yeah, within reason, everything within reason, within moderation.
yeah, I know I do be craving like Costco pizza. I was
Right now?
craving Costco pizza yesterday.
Oh, right now. Is it still good though? Costco's changed.
Personally, like I
the
don't.
churro has changed a lot, and now it's gone.
It's gone.
Churro's
It
gone.
still hasn't changed. It's gone.
No, it like changed, and then it got really bad, and then it disappeared, and now I'm happy because it was a bad churro. The revamp of the churro was bad.
But the cookie is even like unhealthy.
Did you try it?
It's like 3 times the regular cookie, dude.
I haven't tried it yet.
I heard it's good, but it's too sweet. Like you
Ooh.
need like 4 or 5 people to eat that in one sitting.
Oh, everything is so sweet.
Exactly. Maybe we're just old now, you know?
Asian taste of, you know, not too sweet.
Not
Things
too
not
sweet.
too sweet.
Doing nothing
I think it's
sweet.
because we're Asian.
Which is strange because like boba shops are so sweet.
Yeah.
That's why they give you the adjustments.
Yeah, I guess so. But I just am shocked with the standard. Like the regular 100%
At
is
the
so
default,
sweet.
yeah, it's so sweet.
I feel like it's gone sweeter as well.
It's sweet and it's corn syrup, so it's even bad for you. It's like high fructose corn syrup.
Oh,
Take that out to the boba owners, man.
yeah.
I think it was less sweet, like when we were younger.
I think so. Because like Tasty used to be the OG shop around here. And then it just feels like their 100% has gotten significantly sweeter. I didn't have to make adjustments before, but now I do everywhere.
Yeah, but it also could be the worker. Like maybe they just heavy-handed.
I guess it's cheap, but
Who knows? Any last comments about body image though? Any
Yeah.
last comments for our audience?
Well, I can't say much. Body image, it's like to each their own, like their own journey too.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can tell somebody like you look totally fine the way you are or whatever, but can't be helped. Like, you know, the way they see themselves.
Everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
Okay. Video message to you in the future.
Video message to us in the future.
Dog, gain some weight. All right, your turn.
That wasn't to yourself though.
That was
That's to me in the future.
that
And
that
to me
was
right now. The future could be you in 5 minutes. You never know that.
That was a very strong statement.
Don't forget to eat. I don't think I've eaten since Sunday.
Huh?
Well,
Not just because I didn't
She
want
didn't
to.
get food earlier,
I just
but she didn't
forgot
order
to
something.
eat.
Valid. Like I get
set
lazy.
phone reminders.
Because
I think we need to set
I was
alarms.
drinking so much water, it made me full, and I just forgot to eat.
Okay, maybe we need to set phone reminders for alarm. Like
Did you eat
it's
yet?
snack time.
Don't forget to eat. Love yourself. Stay hydrated.
Hydration is important. Yes. Hope you're still alive.
Don't listen.
Sometimes that's all you can ask
Don't
for.
listen to the aunties.
Grow up the auntie's back.
We're done.
Hey,
We're done.
Uno reverse.
We're out of here.
Anyway, so thanks for listening to the Community HOPEcast. You can follow us on our social media handles at Give Us Hope OC on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.